What is up, Poke fans? Welcome back to a brand new video. My name is Matt, and here's the Season 7 breakdown. But I got a little bit more to tell you before we get started with the breakdown. So, remember in the last video where we were kind of talking about Regulation D or something that was going to be coming up starting June 1st? Well, one, that was a lie. I thought it was going to start June, but it doesn't actually officially start till July. And speculation would state that a lot of Pokemon are becoming legal since we now have access to Pokemon Home. So that's really funny, because now we get to see access to the genies. We get to see Galarian forms, Hisuian forms. If you go off of the article off Cerebi, it states that we get access to quite a lot of different Pokemon. We get access to Alolan forms, Galarian forms, Hisuian forms, and sub-legendary Pokemon. Sub-legendary! I looked at the list and saw a couple of my favorites that I'm hoping, if this is true, it does get unlocked, and I'm very excited for. We get both of the ponies that we got for Gen 8. So we get Glastrier and Specterior, two Pokemon that didn't, like, there used to be like attached to Calyrex and like have Ice Rider or Shadow Rider, but now we just get the horses or ponies themselves. We get Regieleki back, Urshifu might be coming back. We get the 3 starters from, Gen 8. We get access to, again, the genies, and that is going to be fantastic. But the Pokemon that I'm kind of excited for the most is actually Galarian Moltres. Moltres was dominating everything that was in Sword and Shield. He is so strong, and I never got to use it before the season was over. So I'm actually very excited to be able to use him in the future, if in fact that it becomes available. I don't know if it is. There's nothing on the official channels that says that this is true, but I'm hoping that it is, because then I get access to the Moltres that I've wanted to use for a while. There's also Cresselia that's available. Typhlosion gets to become available, and again we get Zapdos. The original Disquake combo gets to come back and reign supreme, and I know my buddy John, he's out there watching this video probably, is also very excited for the is it Galarian or the Alolan? It's the Muck that only has one weakness ever. So I'm kind of excited. If you can't tell how excited I am, I'm very excited. While we don't have access to the Cocos, so Tapu Fini is still out, we get access to a lot of really cool Pokemon that we could get in Legends Arceus, and we can also see in the new Diamond Pearl games, and also Gen 8 with Sword and Shield. So all excited things. If it comes true, hopefully it gets released over an official channel so I can make a more detailed list for July when I guess Regulation D comes out. But otherwise, it's a good time all the way around. If you can't tell, I am super excited because I get to see some of my Pokemon again. But I know what you guys are here for. It's something I've been saying that I would have out for a while. I gotta be honest with you, the assets I was working on, I don't like them anymore. They were kind of hard to put together because they didn't really fit anywhere, and I didn't like how they look, so I'll continue to tinker with them and use them later on as I see fit. But as for right now, we're good to go ahead and show you what we're going to be using for Season 7. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Season 7 team, of which we're going to be starting out with and seeing how the team progresses through the month of June. First runner up, we're going to be doing with our core mechanic. The person that sets up is Torkoal. Torkoal, if you must know, is a really strong Pokemon, especially when he's equipped with a Charcoal. Now, not to be confused with Joseph's Torkoal that he used to win the Portland regionals that I was at. This is going to be done a little bit differently, because I still want him to be able to do a lot of damage to my opponents, but I don't want him to be the main focal point of the attacker like it was in Season 4. Instead, what I still want him to do is be able to help others by setting up his hidden ability, which is Drought. It's not his hidden ability, but the ability to set up Sun to help out another core person of his team. Now, in Season 4, I used another Pokemon called Lilligant. His partner is going to be Jumplove. We'll jump into them in just a minute. The EVs that we have currently for Torkoal is a simple 252 HP and special attack, 4 and special defense. We have it that way so that he gets to survive a little bit more moves than normal, but we want it to be able to survive most things. His nature is quiet, which gives him more special attack, but minus speed, so that he will be the slowest thing on the field in case if we have to deal with Trick Room. Now, we did change out his attack from Solar Beam to Helping Hand so that he could be a little bit more of a helper variety, so he doesn't always have to attack, especially when his HP is low, and Eruption doesn't become a problem, doesn't become an issue. With Helping Hand, giving his partner an extra boost would help out quite a bit. Next up, his partner, Jumplove. Now, Jumplove is the Pokemon that I've been eyeing for quite a long time. Actually, in Season 5, I've been kind of playing with the idea of having Jumplove on the team because he adds a little bit more synergy. He's faster than Lilligant, but doesn't have After You. But I don't think that's going to be like the biggest thing that could ever happen with Jumplove. Jumplove comes with Sleep Powder, Tailwind, Pollen Puff, and U-Turn. We have her currently set with the defense plus special attack down, which I believe is Impish. And we have it set to where the HP and speed values are maxed out. And we were going to give her an extra 4 in defense just so that she could survive just a little bit longer. But that's what that is. Otherwise, it is just a 252 in HP and 252 in speed. We want to make sure that Jumplove is one of the faster things in the field. And we're going to be using the Tailwind mechanic to be still hyper offensive. And we have U-turn on it so that after we get done with Tailwind, we can retreat her in the back and then bring out one of the partners to do the job. Sleep Powder is a 75% accurate move that works quite a bit of the time. I know in one of our matches that we just recorded, it was used quite a bit and slept half my team and was kind of like the downfall of it all, but it still did its job. With Pollen Puff also becoming available with a very fast Pokemon like Jumplove, it's really, really good to have someone like that on the team. Now, I do regret not having Protect, but I do have options of removing moves to put Protect in it when we are starting to get down to the nitty gritty of exploring with the team. Next up, we will have our main man, Fluttermane. Now, Fluttermane had put in a lot of work last season. Fluttermane with the wise glasses put in a lot of work and I think made a lot of people bring in Thunderbolt. That was a recurring theme in the regional, and it was also a recurring theme in the premier challenge that I was in soon after that. And a lot of people loved how I put Fluttermane into the game, but it wasn't as offensive as I possibly could make it. So I decided to do something completely different. Because we're using Tailwind, I forego all of my strategies of having speed be the main thing. Now, outside of Tailwind, Fluttermane will still outspeed most slow Pokemon. It will not outspeed itself, and it will also not outspeed Jianpao. But under Tailwind, it will still continue to outspeed everyone, including Iron Bundle, which still seems to be a problem and is it's like used on almost every single team out there, and it's not a bad pick. If you don't have a water type like Gyarados, Palafin, or like Rotom's like huge right now. If you don't have any picks like those, you can go with who was I talking about? Anyway. You have other options to be able to use other different types of water Pokemon, but I decided to use more of an offensive build. Oh yeah, it was Iron Bundle. Duh. Okay, I went with a more offensive build for Fluttermane. So I reduced her speed to 140, so she will still outspeed quite a bit of Pokemon, but her HP was increased by 116 and her special attack remained at 252. And that is her EV value, and that's what that is there. And I figured I would give her either a little bit more HP or put a little bit more into defense before I completely settled into the slot. The HP investment made her from, I want to say like 130, and I think we're sitting at 140, maybe 145. I think. Don't quote me on that one, but I think that's where we decided to sit at. And because we're using Torkoal, it's good to use photosynthesis now, and also gives her the ability of using choice specs. Now, choice specs will increase the Pokemon's attack by 50%, but it has to be special attacks and they can only use one attack. So with me having this wide, variety of moves and a Terra type that is obnoxious, except for fire types, you are looking at a great aspects of using this type. Even if I don't Terra Fluttermane, a Spect Thunderbolt from Fluttermane will knock out most, if not all, Palafins, Iron Bundles, and Gyaradoses with the maximum amount that you could with defenses, which is insane. But since Fluttermane doesn't get a water attack, it's kind of hard to do with, the fire types or the scissors. Still, to each their own. This is the kind of set that I'm currently working with right now, and she is currently set to modest. So she gets the full benefit of her special attack through and through. And with Torkoal in there, we get an extra 30% boost, and that adds up quite a bit. You might not think of it, but it adds to not to the attack, but to the actual stat value that a Pokemon has. So it's not a boost that you can easily remove with Haze, and it's not something that you could just debuff to the ground. Instead, what you have to do is force your opponent to swap them out so they lose that bonus. But you better hope that Torkoal isn't sitting in the back after you swap them out, because they're just going to get it right back as soon as they come back out. Because of that, we've got choice specs on our Fluttermane that is going to hopefully be doing a ton of damage to any trainer that stands in its way. And we'll see that in Season 7. Next up, we got our newcomer, Gyarados. Now, Gyarados has been someone that I've been very interested in using, and using Pikalytics, I decided to grab one of the most basic sets, and that was something that I'm going to be testing out from here on out, and I want your guys' opinion about what I'm going to be choosing. Now, it is unfortunately ×4 to water, not water, but electric. So we're going to have to decide what kind of Terra typing that we want. Right now, I'm going to keep it as flying until I see a lot more electric types in the field. Right now, I don't see hardly any of them. I mean, we could also put up our hands up and go, hey, what about the random, Iron Hands? But out of Season 6, I only ran into a few Iron Hands, and they didn't really seem to help out that much against, my water types, which I don't believe I had one for the longest time, but it's still like up in the air, kind of, sort of. But I do worry about the other Pokemon that are showing up. Rotom is now coming up quite a bit, and I love that fact. But I also want to know if we can still outspeed them and do a little bit more damage than they could. Now, we are using the Citrus Berry on our Gyarados, and we're also be using several different attacks here. We got Protect, we've got Taunt, we've got Dragon Dance, and we also got Waterfall. Dragon Dance is the first move that I will remove from Gyarados, if in fact that we need to remove something off the Pokemon completely. His Terra is flying. His nature is, I believe, Careful, up special defense minus special attack, and his EVs that we set, like I said, is more of the build that I found online, which is 236 HP, 4 in attack, 92 in defense, 4 in special defense, and then I have written down here 172, but there's a little bit of a disclaimer here. I gave him 100 defense, so he's going to survive just a little bit more, but he also takes away from the speed. So his speed's actually 164 and his defense is 100. So we'll see how that goes, but we will probably be using this Pokemon quite a bit, and if it seems like the whole dynamic is going to be thrown off, then we might have to remove him from the team to put in someone else, and then the dynamic is going to change ever so slightly. Now, it might be weird throwing him on a team that works with the sun, but he does offer quite a bit of things outside of the sun, and he also does answer the Ting-Lus of the meta. We also answer Great Tusks in the meta. He also will answer what else is there? Garchomps can't really touch him because, Garchomp does Garchomp things and earthquakes, and he just kind of ignores it all. So it's a great Pokemon to switch in. It's kind of like T-Tar, just not as bulky, but he automatically comes flying, and T-Tar, you have to, Terra into, which is another thing why, Torkoal is so important. I shut down all the T-Tars by bringing out sun instead of having to sit in the desert and having sand blow in my face because, you know, it's obnoxious. You're breaking my sash, man. You're breaking my sash. Oh, something I also didn't notice or didn't tell you what Jumplove was using, which is a covert cloak, which you guys will be able to read on the screen. But in case if you didn't want to, this prevents secondary effects from being applied, if you like. Fake out does damage and also flinches. That flinch doesn't kick in. Icy Wind is like this too, which is great. Icy Wind does not get affected by, or does not lower the speed stats of the Pokemon if they're wearing the covert cloak. So there's more facets to this thing than meets the eye. It's so funny. It just ignores all secondary effects. It's great. Next up, we've got Great Tusk, a Pokemon that I'm going to be using for the very first time, and a Pokemon who has admittedly outsmarted me a couple of times in this last season. Now, I'm going to be running something a little bit different. I'm going to run the Eject Pact on it. You guys might want to figure out why. So Eject Pact states that once the holder's stats gets lowered, it swaps out of the battle. Now, if Arcanine's out there, probably don't want to bring out Great Tusk right away. You kind of want to switch into him just in case if you have to worry about that type of thing. But this moveset with Headlong Rush and Close Combat, you use those first and then you get swapped out right after that. It's literally a game changer. It's like a free switch in with like U-turn, but you have two attacks that do 100, the base power is 120, and he hits like a truck anyway, especially in the sun. So that's the basis of the story. We've got him at 252 speed and attack, and the HP is going to be 4 once we get that set up. Because of photosynthesis, his attack is going to be astronomically high, and you can see here in his team sheet here, that's going to be likely so. He's also set to Jolly for his nature, so we get the full speed investment, and we don't really lose anything for the attack. Now, he's not scarfed, so he'll sit at 152 speed at level 50, which isn't too bad, but he will be at 304 underneath Tailwind, which is perfect for me. Again, we're going to be trying to be as hyper offensive as we possibly can, but we're also going to be doing our very best to make sure that we're not just throwing Pokemon out there just because we could. We got to have some sort of strategy behind everything, and because he has photosynthesis, just like Fluttermane, he's going to like synergize. Wow, speaking is hard. Synergize really well with Torkoal, and because Torkoal is going to synergize with other Pokemon like Jumplove, like Fluttermane, and like Great Tusk, it should be very easy to overwhelm our opponent in a very short amount of time, especially when you've got Torkoal using, you know, Helping Hand, and then you can have Pokemon like Fluttermane and Great Tusk, or even our own Gyarados sitting right next to him to do a whole lot amount of damage. Unfortunately, I do not have anything for Jumplove to really do, but being a supporter, I believe they can pretty much handle a lot of action that's put in front of them. And again, we could swap out Jumplove to put back Lilligant to do that after you stuff, but I don't believe that's going to be like really prevalent when if one Pokemon changes, the whole team dynamic needs to change. So we're going to try to do less of that unless we plan on kind of reconfiguring our core, which is Torkoal, Jumplove, Fluttermane, and Great Tusk. And last but not least is our good man Chien-Pao. Chien-Pao has gone through some significant changes. Its Terra currently right now is flying, but that could definitely change because of the fact that we've changed her whole kit around. The item here is Focus Sash, so we don't have to worry about like that, but because of the fact that we've raised Chien-Pao's HP to be higher amount, and we also kept the attack to be the same. So we changed the Terra for Chien-Pao to be Adamant, so it's plus attack minus special attack. We went for these IVs, which we went 252 in attack, 196 in HP, and 60 in speed. It's not going to be as fast as it possibly could. Now, this is probably something that I was trying to fix last season during the regional as well as the Premier Challenge. I had a lot of speed ties, but I also have Sucker Punch in there, and trying to utilize the defense drops that, Chien-Pao offers. I was trying to really figure out what's the best way to make Chien-Pao survive and be able to survive a lot of different hits. So in our first week, when we start playing, the ranked ladder, we're not going to really see a whole lot of like one hits with Chien-Pao, and that's totally fine. We're going to be testing out this team for quite a while, and we're going to see how it can grow and manage to be something completely different. I don't want to just sit here and go hey, this is the 252 like spread. I want to experiment. I want to be able to constantly change and evolve the way that the meta does. I have a good feeling about this team, but I also want to make sure that this team is going to work with what's available. And right now, this is it for me. I love the design of this team. I think it'll do really, really well. And if for some reason, if Gyarados doesn't fit, I'll put back in Rotom. He's great with the Terra Steel, Terra Blast, you know, rocking everyone's faces off. And if I want a different Tailwinder, but I don't want to have these two Pokemon, I can easily throw Talonflame back in there. And then if I like, oh, well, there goes my entire Seed mechanic or Sun mechanic. Actually, no, because I can throw Klefki back in the team and get rid of, you know, Metal Sound or even Flash Cannon and just throw up Sunny Day, which then still overcharges these two. And Klefki can just kind of be like, okay, I could be a screener, have both screens on my side of the field, throw up Sun, and then just let you Raffle Stomp like one of my teammates in there. Maybe even put Protect just so that he can survive on the field for a longer period of time. He's got options and I've got answers. So it's really, really interesting that the team is looking the way that it is. It's got so much going for it, but it is going to be a learning curve from here on out. And I'm excited. I want to see how this goes. I want to see if we go really, really far or if we just start plummeting into the dirt. But we have made a lot of really cool calls and changes in last season. So I think it's going to transfer really well to this season. Oh, wow. That's a huge deep dive for this particular team. Now I know Terras are going to be constantly changing, and again, that's totally fine. I don't need to have a Great Tusk that is Terra fighting, but it would be kind of funny to have another runic Pokemon stand against this guy that's Terra fighting, and then he does a close combat and gets ejected right after that. So his stat drops don't even apply to him, and he comes back and he gets all of his stat, like he gets photosynthesis again, and then he just becomes, I didn't come out for nothing, and it's gonna be glorious. Oh, and he even has knockoff. He has knockoff. This is gonna be so great. Oh man, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be so much fun. Anyways, guys, that's it. That's my entire team breakdown. I hope you guys like the breakdown that we did so far. It's raining outside. That's pretty cool. But that's it for me. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, hit the like button. If you didn't, dislike it. Leave a comment down below. How much you got? Like, what do you guys think of the team? Is it gonna win? Is it gonna suck? I don't really know, but we're gonna take a month to find out. So that's it. And if you guys want to stay informed of all Pokemon content that I do plan on releasing for the month of June, and extra content that I do record, but sometimes release here and there, just because it takes me a little bit longer to record that one than anything else, subscribe. And you can hit the bell if you want to. It doesn't really bother me, but I do want to try to hit 1,000 subs by the end of the year, and we're getting pretty high up there. You guys are killing it. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I've been trying to grow this channel for a long time, and I finally hit the threshold of where I was stuck, and I'm grateful. I'm so grateful, but I'm losing my voice. I need to get going. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks again, and I'll see you then. Thanks. Bye-bye.